You've seen and heard this power couple on the charts and on Love and Hip Hop, showing that black love is real. Now, Remy and Papoose are going to be preparing for a new chapter in their lives together with their very own golden child. And fans get to see it all go down on VH1's Meet the Mackies, premiering Monday, October 1st. Let's take a look.
I kind of feel like y'all are adults technically, and y'all do a lot of adult-like things, but you still have this whole childish umbrella that we keep carrying over you guys. Now would be a good time to really start, how do I say this? Getting the hell out.
Wow. Our kids want a whole lot of and we get most of it, because he's a sucker.
Remy is being too hard trying to rush the kids out the house.
Rush.
I just don't want to send them out there into that outside world.
They're never gonna be ready.
Premature.
Ever.
Now y'all gotta go though.
I mean, if we move out, will you still like pay our bills and stuff?
I'm smacking. I said pay our bills. You capped all the way.
You serious?
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Remy and Papoose.
How
How are you guys? We're doing
Hello.
well, doing well. Congratulations on your very
you.
own golden child. How's the transition been so far?
First of all, every time I hear someone outside of this maniac right here call the baby the golden child, it's hilarious.
It's
to
catchy.
me.
It sticks. You know?
He loves it.
That's what it is.
He loves it. He loves it.
Start an Instagram account for your embryo called the
Hey,
Golden
good
Child.
idea.
You better hurry up and do it now. Someone's taking the name right now.
I'm sure they stole it already.
There you go.
But
Done
it's,
everything.
it's great. It's a wonderful thing to be with someone that you love and be able to finally have something that you both have wanted for so long. So I'm happy.
I mean, you both have been together for 13 years, married for a decade, right? Tell the people how you guys actually met and what made you guys realize that this was it for both of you.
Oh, wow. You want to tell the story?
No.
Well, a mutual friend by the name of DJ K. Slay, he actually introduced us to each other. She actually reached out to him and told him she was infatuated with me. He made the connection.
Remy, is this true? Please confirm.
I wouldn't have used the
To
word
make a long story
infatuated,
short.
but go ahead.
Well, he reached out to me. He was like, Remy wants to do a song with you. I was like, oh, really? He was like, I'm going to tell you, I think she like you. He's like, but I'm going to let you know, she's crazy. And I was like,
Wow, a disclaimer before.
and then we set up the studio session, and she didn't show up that time. And I was like, that's weird. And then
Stood you up on a studio date.
Yeah.
All that infatuation, would you believe it? Right?
And then on another occasion, he told me last minute that she was coming, and she actually came this particular day. And we just clicked, man. The rest was history from there. We started out as friends. We would spend a lot of time talking and just hanging out. And then one thing led to another.
That's not what happened. I'll tell y'all the short version.
The real version.
I can't, right, the short, real version. I actually despised him when I first, because K-Slay was my friend first. And he used to do, around this time, we were both doing, a lot of mixtapes and stuff like that. And I would always be number one on his mixtape. Like, I knew when I put out new music, it was the first one. So now I started noticing, for a couple of mixtapes in a row, is this guy named Papoose that's number one and I'm number two. So I'm like, who's this whack guy from Brooklyn? I didn't really think he was whack, but I didn't like him because he was trying to take my spot. So I'm like, who's this whack guy? Get him out of here. So then I'm seeing him one day in the club. He doesn't know. Well, he knows now, but he didn't know. So I'm looking. I was like, oh, he's kind of cute. And I took the security's flashlight, and I was, flashing it on him, and me and my friends were, checking him out. But I didn't know, in that particular club, the signal for getting someone kicked out the club was to flash them with a flashlight. So, security, surrounds them, this whole big thing. So I'm telling him, no, don't kick him out. I like him. So I set up the studio thing, like he said, but I didn't go because I didn't like my outfit that day. So I went another day. And when I went, he was really quiet. He didn't talk. He was in his own little world, his own corner. And I was just in there, being me, bossing people around.
That was another time. This time when you liked me was another time.
I liked you all of the time.
Keep it moving.
Anyway, he liked that. I was the whole, she's crazy thing. he liked it. He liked that I was crazy. And then, like you said, we started out as friends. We used to just hang out in the studio all the time. Well, or sometimes we'll just sit in the car till like the next day for mad hours.
Yeah, we would be talking in the car at night, and next thing I know, it was morning. The sun would come up.
So that went on for like a couple of months. And then he just told me one day that he loved me, couldn't live without me. And we've been together ever since.
All great signs of a
that,
healthy
that
relationship.
part I added in, but it would have been cool if he had really did that.
So the Remy and Papoose that we've seen on Love and Hip Hop, how is it different from the power couple that we see on Meet the Mackies?
I think, in my opinion, on Love and Hip Hop, you only get to see little aspects of our lives, and it's mostly centered around our music and our careers and some of the things that go on in our personal life. And Meet the Mackies, you get to see how crazy my husband really is, because he likes to promote that I'm the crazy one. But I tell people all the time that this guy vowed to be with me for the rest of his life till death do him part. So he's just as crazy as I am. He just hides it a little bit better. But we also get to see our children. Well, I call them our adultren because they're not really children anymore or childlike. They're all 18 and 21.
Yeah, they're getting older.
No, they've been older already. He's like clinging to them. He doesn't want to let them go. But I'm like, we have a new baby on the way. So you guys get to experience that with us. It started on Love and Hip Hop, and people, saw how we wanted to have a baby for so long. And then we actually was able to get pregnant. And then I lost the baby. And then I did this whole long IVF procedure. And I just felt that it was only right to experience like the joy that we had when we actually had a successful in vitro fertilization process, because so many people do it and it's not successful, and that's why he calls the baby the golden child. He feels like it's a miracle.
It's not guaranteed to work, and we spent a lot of days at the doctor, a lot of time on the road driving to the doctor, but we were consistent with it, and it's not a guaranteed procedure. You go through the necessary steps, and eventually you get a call from the doctor, and they let you know, did it work out. But as that process went along, it was one particular time after we did the process, we had to wait and see if it was an actual heartbeat inside. And they hooked up the machine, and it was a heartbeat. You know what I'm saying? So here we are now. We giving birth to the golden child.
Meet the Mackies. Let's show the world.
And I actually took a recording of the baby's heartbeat, and I had a producer build it into a track, and I made a song out of it. So that's gonna be coming out real soon.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Rem, you did mention, the heartbreaking miscarriage and then also having to go through IVF. How did that make you stronger as a woman, but then you two together as partners?
I don't think it actually made me stronger as a woman until I got not I wouldn't even say just a positive pregnancy test, because even then I was still nervous until the second trimester, where they're like, okay, you're out of the red area, where you have a very high success rate from this point on. It kind of really breaks you. As a woman, you feel like, you're supposed to be a mom and a nurturer. And one of the great things to me about being a woman is being able to have children and, create new life with your husband and things like that. And after the miscarriage, I felt like I couldn't do that. And the doctors actually told me that as well. Like, there's no way that this could happen naturally. You're going to have to go through this process and that process. And not only is it really lengthy, like my husband explained, but there's like so much medication that you're taking, expensive medication, that thank God I was able to, afford. And I feel sorry for the people that can't afford it. And there's months of injections in your stomach and blood drawing. It's just a lot. And you feel less than a woman, and you feel like, inadequate. So when you get the positive pregnancy test, you want to be happy, but you always have it, but like, what if something goes wrong? So when we first found out, and he was just telling the whole world, even though I told him to wait because he was so excited, I was more so nervous because, I just didn't want to, I don't know, I guess jinx it or tell everybody, and then we have another upset like before. So I definitely think that I don't think it ever makes you, feel like a woman or any of those like great things. If anything, you tend to doubt yourself a lot.
Yeah, it was a very sad time for us, just to be honest. Very depressing time. And, my wife one of the things she asked me was, you know, am I angry at her? And I was like, no, it's not your fault. Don't worry, we'll figure this out. And eventually here we are, God is good. We giving birth to the golden child. So on this show, you'll get to experience this joyous time period in our lives with us, man, because I'm on cloud 9, level 10. This is the gold. This is not a regular child, man. This is the golden child, man.
Miracle
So
baby.
this is different right here, man. It's a big deal.
You also mentioned that we get to see more of your children. So talk to me about the ways in which you successfully blend families, because that can be an awkward situation for a lot of people.
I think we just treat them all the same, really. I've been, like you said, we've been married for 10 years. We've been together for 13 years. So when we met, we were really young. We were both in our early 20s, and we both had children when we were teenagers. So I pretty much watched the 18-year-olds grow up since they were about 4. And his 21-year-old, which is now my 21-year-old, she was about 8 or 9 when I first met them. So for them to be 18 and in their 20s now, I feel like I've been there for pretty much a large part of their lives. And they get along great with my son, who they tend to gang up on us.
Get along isn't the word. They're inseparable. I mean, it's you got to have consideration, and when you genuinely love somebody, it's going to work out. You're going to make it work. But to answer your question, it's definitely challenging at times. But as long as we stick together and we got that family love and that unity, nothing can break it.
I think, not to cut you off, baby, it's difficult raising kids, period, even when they're your own children. So when you have stepchildren and children that are not biologically yours, at first in the beginning, you feel like, there's boundaries that you don't really want to cross because there are other parents that you have to take into consideration. And then at the end of the day, also the kids, they have their own mind, and when they get mad, it's like, oh, you're not my mom or you're not my dad. And it's just like, okay, but I'm going to tell your dad, hold on. So once the adults have an understanding, it's so much easier to just get past the little nicks and the obstacles that get thrown in your path. But I think the thing that makes ours work the most is that the kids genuinely love each other, and they think of themselves as each other's siblings. Like, that's how they refer to each other. Oh, my sibling this, and my sibling that.
It's successful. When your children consider themselves brothers and sisters, when you met through marriage, then that family is a successful home.
For sure. And how has parenthood changed you both together and individually?
It changed me a lot. It's definitely a more sense of responsibility, and it's an obligation. And that you're obligated to do the right thing by these people. You put them before you. That's your family. Those are your children. So it definitely makes you a better person all the way around.
See, I don't know. I'm a little bit different. I feel like it's bad. I call them the old kids and the new kid because they're like older now. So like with our older children, like I said, when we had them both when we were teenagers, when we were really young. So we kind of grew up with them. And it's weird in some ways because when we're parenting, especially like with my daughter, who was my stepdaughter, we're really close. We're like best friends. And when we talk sometimes and I try to chastise on something, she's like, oh, come on, like now you're acting like a mom, like stop. But you have to be a little bit more understanding because at the end of everything, like you said, they didn't ask to be here. So whereas when I was younger, before I had any kids at all, it was just like only person I had to worry about was me. And now it's like, with both of us, we love each other dearly, and this is my husband forever. But with both of us, our main concern is to make sure that the kids are right and that they're fine. That's why, as you guys see, when I'm like, hey, they're not really kids now, we can kick them out. He's like, no, let's keep them forever. But it's a different experience when you have somebody. You never think that you can have something that you love more than yourself or more than your mom or more than, the person that you with until you have children. It's a very, very different experience.
And I think that the fact that you both already have children, it allows you to, welcome the golden child with more experience.
Yes.
A little bit. And then, so now I
Yes.
wonder, what are some of the life lessons that you want to instill in your new child, but also shy away from now that you have the wisdom from past experience?
Yeah, I think definitely with the other children, we spoiled them. They got everything they ever wanted without even second guessing. And I think that was a mistake because as they get older.
He's admitting this. Can
you
I
know,
get this recording when this is done?
Definitely getting recorded.
Yes,
It's
please.
not, and definitely with the golden child, I don't intend on doing that. The child is going to feel love. Definitely, I want my child to know that you're loved more than anything on this planet. But as far as spoiling them with materialistic things, I would never do that again. It's a bad result, very bad, and it's like a sense of entitlement. Because you got to understand, if you're living your life and anything you want, you can just get it at the snap of a finger. You don't know the true value of it. And you feel like it's owed to you, and the world isn't like that. When you're preparing your children to go out into society, you want to prepare them for what they're really going to be up against, And we don't want our child, ruined by materialism. We don't want them on the internet all day. I don't want a phone to raise my child. This is the generation where they say they have millennials, how they call them. I don't want my kid to be like that. I want my kid to read books, just do a lot of old-fashioned things that really builds character.
Do we see that type of tough love on Meet the Mackies?
From him? No. I'll answer that one. Absolutely not. I seriously need this footage when we leave here because I say this all the time. I can't believe the truth, finally.
I mean, we kind of agree on that.
Yeah, but you don't
We
never
want to raise
act
this
on
kid
it.
different.
Yes,
we
but
agree on that.
And then you will say that, and then later on in the day, you be like, "Oh, I'm gonna spoil you so bad." I'm like, "Bruh, don't." They can
The
hear
golden
you.
child, to a certain extent, is kind of spoiled already.
No,
but
you're
we fighting against that.
spoiled. But I think what he's trying to say is that it's different because once again we had our children when we were technically still children. When you're 17, you're 18, you think you're grown, but you're really not. You be like, oh, when I turn 18, I'm gonna do this. You're not gonna do anything. You don't know what half of the world is about. So I think with this child, we have a lot more experience, not just with children, but just with the world, period. And I think those are some of the things that we can install into our children early. With our previous children that we had before we got together, when you're 19, 20, and you're young, your kids are young, you're thinking with the mentality of a 19-year-old or a 20-year-old. So things that you think is cool, having your kid in all the flyest sneakers and everything that comes out, and they know all the songs and you think it's cool, like that's not really what's important. We ended up with kids that turned out, they're not totally crazy, but, I think that now being more mature and being grounded, being in a married relationship, being in a home where you have a mother and a father, and it's just everybody has a little bit more structure. I definitely feel like that's going to play a major part in this new child that we're having.
Yeah, I mean, my mentality was, I came from poverty and I came from the ghetto, so I wanted to make sure my kids have everything that I didn't have. And they
didn't earn it.
That was a mistake, because growing up back then you had to earn things, like my wife said. So I feel like that's a big mistake just to spoil a child with materialistic things, and I don't want to do that. I want to make sure I'm there and, do things correctly.
Before we open up the floor to questions from the audience, lastly, does, racking up these VH1 checks and having kids, does this mean the music takes a backseat?
No, I'm still active.
Everything takes a backseat to my kid. Everything.
I was about to say, let me speak on my behalf. I'm still doing music. My album should be ready to come out whenever they get the logistics together and the legalities together. It's just sitting there waiting to go. I constantly record new stuff and take some out and put something in. I have my new show that I'm doing, State of the Culture, which I love and which is so fun to me. And, of course, there's the Love and Hip Hop and now the Meet the Mackies. And we have so much other things.
We got a lot of things going on. I mean, I have music coming out, but, man, I'm so excited about this baby. I really don't care about nothing else.
He goes in the studio
But
and starts doing
I have
things
music
like,
coming out. I have I actually have some Black Love sneakers coming out, just designed strictly for the ladies. And,
Really fly, okay.
Definitely, I want y'all to look
Is
fun.
it a collaboration sneaker
No,
with somebody, or is it
I
just all you?
I just got
She's
my
like, no.
pair yesterday. I had to excuse me,
so
can I get a pair
far,
of the Black Love sneakers?
Yeah,
Then,
all the
just-
females who
like,
seen
Life
it,
gets first dibs.
they love it, man. It's strictly for the ladies. Later on, I might do something for the men, but right now it's strictly for the ladies, and I think y'all gonna love it.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. All right, let's open it up to the audience.
Hi, Remy.
Hi, how
I
are
want
you?
to first and congratulate the both of you. Remy, you truly deserved it, really.
Thank you.
If filming Meet the Mackies, did you have any obstacles during the filming process since everything is new?
Oh, you want me to answer it?
Yeah.
See, the thing is this: when it's just us two filming, we're adults and we both know each other so well. Like I know things that he probably wouldn't want me to say or things that I probably get him in a certain mood. When we're filming with the kids, we don't know what they're gonna say at any given moment. So we end up at the end watching it and we see like certain scenes. Like there was one scene that we saw and they were just the kids by themselves filming. They're talking about the golden child. And it was like, the golden child. Like, what are we, the bronze
I'm the
kids?
golden child.
I'm the golden child. Like they was like really upset about it. Like we really got to see the jealousy that they kind of have for the baby that's not even here yet.
Yeah, all three of them.
They're super jealous, but we only got to see that because when they're around us, we were like, oh, ain't nobody thinking about you. Go ahead with your baby. We don't
Yeah, we don't
get it."
care. You know, they play that role.
But we saw them filming, and I'm just like, and then some of the others, I was like, no, they have to cut that out. That's just too crazy. They just get too crazy. And sometimes it's not because I want it to seem like this perfect family, but I know how the public and how social media scrutinizes every single thing. So there was actually one. And it's in this clip that they show here that I don't think they show it there, where my daughter was expressing how like, oh, you weren't there for every second of my life because we feel like with this baby we're gonna be there for every second. So she was upset like, oh, you weren't there, and we're like, the nerve of her to say we wasn't there. When was nobody there for you? But we know what she means, but people who are just watching is like, oh, wait, he wasn't there for his kids. So it'd be little things like that where the wording is off, where as an adult and as someone who has experience in reality TV knows how you have to say things exactly or it could get ran with and dragged down the block. So those are I would say, the only things that we have to deal with that. And probably like when I'm going through like one of my little baby, tiny, not so serious mood swings.
Any other questions?
Over here.
Oh, right over here.
Yes.
Go
Hi.
for it.
Hi, I'm a huge fan for the both of you, and congratulations.
Thank you.
My question to you is that are you gonna produce new music, or are you gonna wait until the baby comes, or like what's going on in that range from there?
It's both. Like I've been lucky enough to be 7 months pregnant and not be super huge like I envisioned in my mind. So I've been still doing, my videos and my photo shoots and stuff like that. But I really want to be able to get on the road and give people the music the way they need to have it. So I'm still doing that, but I have 2 more months left before the little golden child, is out of here. And then I'm definitely 150% dedicated to getting my music out.
How
Right
you
over
guys
here.
doing? It's good to see you guys together. These guys in high school like 10 years ago, 2008, whatever. Listen, everything was word of mouth. Like, it's Papoose coming at the AZ, he got Remy, Terror Squad. So, like now, you guys, how do you still compete 10 years later with the new generation? Like, like this putting this music out there. And, what gives you that determination to keep going?
Well, you don't compete. You know what I'm saying? It's when you love music like I do, it's something that you do naturally from the heart. Without a camera or microphone or anything, I would still do music. It's just something I always enjoy doing. So I would never compete with the new generation. I just let them be and let them do their thing, you know what I mean? And just be happy for them.
I competes now. I'm just saying, I think that there's a misconception, with the whole competition thing. There's more than enough fans and genres and lanes for everybody to coexist at the same time. And I think that's when you really get to see who the great ones are, when they're able to coexist, not just in their era, but in the generation after that. And after that, like when I first got my first intro to the music, I was still in high school and in the late 90s, and here it is, 2018, and I'm still making music, and I'm still doing everything that I love to do. And it's so many people that don't get to do that. There's so many people that when I came in, they were here and they're long gone. And there's people that are here now that I'm pretty sure 10 years from now, they're not going to be there. So I'm just blessed enough to, to say, like, I've been doing this 17, 18 years. And not only do I love it and it's something that I enjoy, but it definitely changed my life. It changed my family life. It allows me to travel and do things that I probably would have never been able to do had I just, gave up and had a regular job, like people like to call it. But, I just think that music is a wonderful blessing and a stepping stone. It opens so many different doors for you to just do things that you never thought you'd ever be able to do. Like, I never thought I'd be doing reality TV. I never thought that I'd be able to host, a panel and talking about so many different things in just the culture. So I love it. I love it.
When you have a core fan base, you don't have to, worry about competing with what comes out. No, that core fan base, if you really give them that real quality work, believe it or not, they always going to be there.
That's awesome. Do we have any other questions? All right. Well, let the good people know when they can watch episode 1 of Meet the Mackies. October 1.
Hey, October 1st, 9 p.m. on VH1. Meet the Mackies, Remy and Papoose. Do not miss it.
And then all the other Mondays at 9 p.m.
3-part special, everybody. Give it up for Remy and Papoose.
Yeah.